Laurent, a return obviously to Port Vale on Saturday. How much are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, exciting. Obviously, I had good memories with them last season with the promotion. So with my teammates, fans, like the celebration. But now I'm here at Plymouth, Argyle, and yeah, I'm happy here. And it's gonna be 90 minutes where there's not gonna be any friends. So I'm looking forward to that.
How many of the players do you know up there? They've not had a lot of changes since you left, have they?
What is?
How many of their players do you know? I mean, it's pretty much the same team as when you left, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Not much has changed, I think.
How strange will it be playing against former teammates then?
Yeah. As I said before, I'm exciting, looking forward. It's going to be a good game in terms of, how can I say? Because I played with them, so I will want to show what I can do. But it's not going to be for them, it's going to be against them, so yeah.
And it'll be an interesting balancing act as well, in as much as they probably know a lot about your game, equally you know a lot about the defenders' games as well. You know, you'll each be looking to pick up on each other's weaknesses, I guess.
Yeah, that's a bit... I know the centre-backs there, midfielders, almost everyone, so yeah. What
sort of reception are you expecting from the fans?
I probably don't expect anything from them because I'm playing for the opposite team, so I'm just a player who wants to win the game of football.
What would it mean to you to score against Port Vale on Saturday?
Means like, for me it's a game where I want to score the same as the other games I play, so it's the same.
A lot of footballers don't celebrate goals against their former side. Will you celebrate on Saturday if you do score?
Yeah, why not?
Good man. It's an important game though, isn't it? Because both sides find themselves at the wrong end of the table at the moment. 3 points are important on Saturday, aren't they?
Yeah, very important. We haven't been in the good form recently. The last 5-6 games we haven't won. We're looking forward to get that run again of wins, and hopefully this Saturday can start.
Whenever I've seen you play, and I saw you at Bristol Rovers, for example, your head doesn't seem to go down. You constantly keep trying, working hard. Is that something that comes from within? You know, because when a team isn't as a whole playing that well and the results aren't coming for you, then sometimes you can want to disappear or something. You don't seem to want to do that. You just keep battling on.
Yeah, to be fair, it's been difficult. Sometimes I've been a bit frustrating in the game, but I'm trying to do my best to stay in the game and to do my best to help the team. And to help the team, for me, my job is to score goals. So I'm trying to do my best to do that.
Has Tom picked your brains at all about Port Vale? Has he asked you your thoughts on your former team, where their strengths, weaknesses are?
Yeah, no comment about that.
Fair enough. Okay, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Lawrence, and just a couple of questions. You've scored 8 goals for Argyle this season, and in a team that's been struggling for results, that's good going. How pleased are you that you've been able to get as many goals as you have so far?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm happy with that. I still think I can do more, but when you score and you don't win the games, you're disappointed. And that's how I feel right now with the last couple of games when I scored. But for me, it's the most important thing is to score, to win the games. Obviously, to help the team to score goals, but the most important is to win the games.
But you scored lots of goals for Port Vale in League 2 last season, and now you've scored lots of goals, or plenty of goals, in League 1. That's got to be good for your confidence.
Yeah, my confidence is good. In terms of scoring, I scored last season, scoring this season, so yeah, it's not bad.
And if you count the goal that you scored for Port Vale against Stevenage, you're the joint top scorer in the division with Mason Burstow and Davis Keeler-Dunn at Barnsley. Is that nice to know that at the moment you're the joint top scorer in League 1?
Yeah, it's nice to know. I know I've got the quality to be up there. But as I said before, we need to start winning games, and I have to do my job, and to do my job is to score goals.
Good luck to get that win on Saturday.
Tom, I know you went to Port Vale last weekend. Obviously, didn't research the roots of the name, but what did you glean from the game you saw?
Yeah, I thought they had a really intense start to the game. I feel like when games are intense, that's when they look at their best. They're happy for the opposition to have the ball, but then come really aggressive with pressure, and you need to be careful with that. I thought Wickham then grew into the game and created some good moments, but an even game of football. It shouldn't have been 0-0. There was certainly enough chances in the game to not be 0-0. But yeah, I think they're a side at home this season. They look really intense and effective, and probably haven't had some of the results they deserve. So we know it's going to be a tough game. I've been really pleased with our preparation this week, and I like the look in the players' eyes and the mentality and the freshness of how we've looked this week.
How useful an exercise is it for you to be able to see the opposition firsthand?
Very. I think it's the best type of scouting. You can watch 5 previous games on a laptop, but I'd rather take one in person. You get to see movement away from the ball. You get to see body language. You get to see the atmosphere and the feeling within the stadium. I really enjoy getting eyes on the opposition, and it's productive. Yeah.
And presumably there's some bits and pieces in their play that you feel you can exploit on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%, and we've worked towards that. We've been really pleased with the work on the training field this week. I think we've been productive with our 10 days off, or 10 days without a game, not off. And yeah, we've highlighted those areas where we need to improve, and worked on them well.
How good or how useful has it been having that 10 days without a game?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't plan to give the players too many days off, but I thought after a real testing period for everyone and a real negative period in terms of results, it was important people spent some time away, freshened up, and got ready to attack a really important 10 games. And I was pleased that I managed to do that after the Bristol Rovers game, and still have enough time to work well for Port Vale. So I think we've got that balance well, because I see a freshness of the players this week.
Injury-wise, how are you looking?
Got some positive news, but that never comes without negatives this season. So the positive is I've got 5 guys back in training. 2 that are a little bit still about 10 days away, maybe Northampton, but Pleggy and Xavier Michi are both back in training with the group, so great progress for our 2 long-term ones there, as well as Rolls, Edwards and Benarous will be available to travel. So that's key, that Edwards and Benarous will be available to play. And Rolls, who had his own little setback last week, just missed a few key training days with us, so he won't be ready to start the game, but his experience and presence will be an asset for us. So those 5 back in training. Mackenzie and Watts still long term, and unfortunately Bradley Ibrahim suffered a significant injury in training this week. A freak incident where his studs have got just caught in the ground and then received a contact, and yeah, it's significant ankle injury.
How long is he likely to be?
It'll be months, not weeks.
And that really is just a freak one, because I know you've been looking into the amount of injuries that Argyle have had over the last, well, even before your time here, really. It's
a freak run we've had. My training methods haven't changed to last pre-season where I had and start of the season where I had a complete clean bill of health. So the training methods, all I have considered is doing less contact drills, less opposed drills in training, because it's got that serious, the amount of injuries we're getting. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, because there's a lot of bad luck. Bradley's never had an injury in his career, and then gets a real significant one that was a freak incident. So it's the way it's going. We're not going to feel sorry about ourselves about it. We're going to roll our sleeves up and realise the situation we're in and do everything we can to win on Saturday.
Derek Adams was due to arrive on Monday. Have you had meetings with Derek now?
Yeah, I really liked first impressions. I think we connect as characters. We're very clear on what we like. We're decisive. We've connected well. Spoke about the technical aspect of the team as well as the recruitment and how January looks. And David Fox has been involved in all those conversations. And it's not. I've got experience on my staff with Nance and Stowley, and both of those guys have sat in my seat for short periods. But Derek's the guy who knows exactly what I feel and what I need, and he's been a great source of support in the week he's been here.
He's passionate about the club and about his football, isn't he, Derek?
Yeah, and like I said, that we were connected in many ways, and that's one we're passionate and. About this club and football.
How key for you personally are these next group of games? Because I mean, obviously Argyle can't afford to stay where they are on the table for long, can they?
Absolutely, we know that. I think for the cliches, the next game is the most important. But if you look at the next 10 in the league, that is 6 at home. That is those 5 players being back. That's a Christmas period, and that's into a transfer window. And the most important thing out of all those is we got 30 important points to play for. So it's a hugely important period for us all, and we're preparing to get the most out of that.
I'm not expecting you necessarily to tell me, but do you actually set targets for those 10 games? You say we want XX points out of those games?
Not usually, but I have, yeah. And I'm not going to disclose that. But yeah, good question, and it's not something I usually do. But we find ourselves in a tricky situation, so I think it's important that we know exactly what success looks like out of these next 10 games. I always think this period now is where you can judge where you're. I know I said something different in pre-season, but you can really judge where your season looks like it's going to go and what success will look like. So. Yeah, we've set a short-term target for the next 10 games, and I'll let you know after that whether we were successful or not.
Okay. Write it down on a piece of paper. So. Thank you, Tom.
Hello, Tom. Have you spoken to Bradley at all? For a young player who's played a lot of football this season and impressed a lot of people as well, he must be feeling really down. What's his sort of mood? What have you got to do to try and keep his spirits up?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, had a good chat with him yesterday. I mean, he's on his crutches and things like that, so he's not much he can do physically, but mentally he can still be a good guy around the environment. Still, sort of, he's a big personality and he's influential, especially among the younger half of the squad. So impact people the right way around the football club. I always think for young players, watch role models, take this time to watch the best players in England in Bradley's position, your Declan Rices, your Bellinghams, and learn from them. So yeah, you can always be productive. I know more than anyone about being injured. So I've had some conversations about that, and yeah, he has to come back stronger because he's an important player for the club.
So Joe Edwards and Eamon Benarus, they're available to play on Saturday at Port Vale.
Yeah.
And then Xavier and Pleggy hopefully available to play against Northampton.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they were available to start after being out for so long. Yeah. But no, to have those guys back in training and just the fresh, I think it's why the environment's felt fresh this week. It's not felt feeling sorry for ourselves sort of environment, is because we've had 5 new faces in the training sessions. Joe Rolls also, so yeah, really pleased with that, and the 3 guys that you mentioned before will be as long as nothing happens from now till tomorrow afternoon, but they'll be on the coach for tomorrow for the game on Saturday.
Yeah, it's good to see that you've retained a sense of humour about it, because it just seemed to have been one injury after another. But at least by getting those 5 players, the squad's a bit bigger and there's a bit more depth to it, isn't there? So
yeah, we've suffered a real setback with Bradley, but I'm really positive this week, and that's been a reason. Yes, you never lose belief or confidence as a coach in what we do, but yeah, you lose a bit of confidence in when you keep having injury setbacks and you think, oh, where's the next source of bad news coming from? So yeah, we have all lost a bit of confidence in that, but there's been a huge wave of positivity this week after a mental break for the players, after seeing those guys back in training, and I've been really pleased with the intensity and quality of the sessions.
Joe Rawls, just a few sort of aches and pains from training with a professional team full-time basis, or?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's not unusual to have a little 3 or 4 days where he was sore in the calf and we didn't want to take risks, so we've got him for another 10 games and to maybe not start one and be available for 9 made sense rather than risk him for one and miss the following 9. So not unusual when a player's not trained day in day out with a professional team, and he's so yeah, we took the decision not to push him through that. He has been training. He will be on the bus tomorrow, and yeah, he'll still be, his presence and his leadership will still have impact on the squad.
Is Brendan Galloway back and okay?
Yeah, you'll visually see Brendan in the game. He's got a sore one. He had stitches above and below the eye.
I saw a bit of video where he had quite a black eye below his right eye.
Yeah, so he's had stitches that'll be. Yeah, he's a warrior. Absolutely no effect on him.
Do you know what happened to him?
I don't. It's a good question. I got the message saying Galloway injured in an Instagram post from Zimbabwe Federation, and yeah, that's when you automatically think, oh, what now? But thankfully, it's a head injury to someone who is tough as nails.
And Law McCabe didn't play for the under-20s?
Yeah, went for a hamstring scan after the Huddersfield game. It's never ending, is it? Thankfully, clear. So Law didn't go away with the under-20s, but yeah, it was probably more muscle cramps and fatigues rather than anything pulled after Huddersfield.
Yeah, we've definitely spent far too much talking about medical stuff this season and being experts on hamstrings and whatever. I know you were at the Youth Cup game on Tuesday night. Tegan Finn scored 2 and obviously got a lot of the attention because there were 2 good goals. Any thoughts on his performance, the team's performance, and of course the fact that they're away to Watford, who you coached previously? Yeah,
it's interesting. First, 3 parts to your question. Tegan I think he expects more of himself than we saw in the first half, and he certainly produced that in the second half. Match winner, real bits of quality, especially at that level. But I think that's what we've grown to expect from Tegan, and it's not easy handling that expectation when everyone expects to turn up and Tegan Finn's the star of the show. It's not easy to deal with that. So to come out second half and do that was really pleasing. I thought Sam Heyman at the back, brilliant, and yeah, it was a real good performance after the first 20 minutes, and Jamie's doing a great job producing the level of players that he does, and yeah, an exciting 3rd round trip now to my old employees and a lot of academy players that I've coached, so I'll be able to give Jamie the heads up on a few of them for sure.
That'd be a useful source of information for Jamie, I'm sure. Can you explain, with Derek Adams coming in as director of football, how does that work with you as head coach, him as director of football, David Fox as head of football operations? What's the sort of chain of command, or how does it all work?
Yeah, so from a technical level, me and Derek will more sort of discuss and offer. It'd be a good soundboard for me rather than I have to report to Derek or he's advising me. I think it's really good that I have that soundboard of someone who has been in here, who's seen and got the T-shirt. And then from a recruitment wise, it'll be very much driven by Derek. We're not going to bring in a head of recruitment just now, and between the 3 of us, we'll navigate through January. And David will will assist with all that, and yeah, knit it all together, and the daily running of the football club and the academy and the women's and the first team and how that all fits in will be knit together by David. And yeah, for me, it's been a really good first week. When you're in a real important position in a football club, you have to give clarity, and that is definitely high up on Derek's attributes, and I've liked it. So
when you spoke to us after Bristol Rovers, you weren't sure whether you're going down the head of recruitment role or not, but so Derek does that now. So one of his main jobs at the moment then is going to be planning for January. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And is he starting from scratch? And how important is it that there's targets lined up, because presumably you'll want to add some players to the squad in January? Yeah, without going into too much detail, those conversations have already happened. Yeah, we had long meeting with the three of us and Paul Byrne last week about what January looks like, about our current injury situation, about what positions we need to strengthen in, what players may be starting to becoming a bit unsettled. And yeah, nothing about the summer, because we realise that the situation and the improvement needs to be right now. So yeah, we're really ahead of the game on that. We have identified positions, players, and now it's all about going out there and seeing what the availability of those would look like. We've had real backing from Paul to go and do that, and it's important that we do, but most importantly is we've got a massive game on Saturday, so that is where all my focus is for the next 48 hours. Just one more, Tom. There's a new chief executive. You just mentioned Paul Byrne. Derek's come in as director of football. It's crucial you're all on the same page now, isn't it? The club's not in a good position league-wise. You need to be all on the same wavelength, don't you, really? Do you feel that that's going to happen? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think we've really connected, myself and Derek. I'm not I've not got an ego, so if Derek wants to be out there and watching the training sessions, that's absolutely. I'd promote that. I want to see what he's thinking, maybe this and there, and like I said, I've got Nance and Stowley on my staff who've got bags and bags of experience. But Derek's sat in this seat and plenty of times, and he'd be a great source of support for me. And as far as being aligned, I've not seen anything to suggest that we won't be. So far, it's a short space of time, but we absolutely recognise the poor situation we're in, and we're aligned in how we get out of that for sure.